if not quite accepting it, had purposely gone to ground in the hope of protecting and retaining the, as it turned out, not inconsiderable privileges WASPs had accumulated, while their children tried somehow to assimilate into the by then much broader and vital population that had overflowed their parents' world. We were a lot more fun. Though none of these, to me, exotics, indulged in braggadocio, indeed they exuded practical nonchalance and seemed more embarrassed than chuffed by their heritage, this book was inspired by them. As hints of their notable family stories emerged, an anthropological curiosity was piqued, and in the mid-1980s, as the rich had a revival under Ronald Reagan, I took my first tentative journalistic steps into the society they came from, and came to see that reports of the death of old money were exaggerated. I wrote several books that peripherally examined this phenomenon, including 740 Park, about a New York City cooperative apartment house that was an establishment redoubt, and Rogues Gallery, the story of the financial backers of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and discovered that while WASPs hadn't given up the ghost, many of them would have preferred that the rest of us think they had. Quite the contrary. With stubborn persistence and a surprising knack for adaptation, they've survived, even if they no longer prosper in comparison with hedge fund, infotainment, and tech money. Turns out they got a piece of that once they sold the Park Avenue apartments, Palm Beach mansions, Adirondack camps, and shingled Atlantic cottages to the newly enriched. So they still sat near, if not at, the top of America's socioeconomic pyramid in summer 2019 as I began writing this book. But that imposing edifice was under attack from both ends of the political spectrum. That reckoning, inevitable perhaps, indispensable for sure, is ongoing. And it is my hope that this warts and all look at those who designed, erected, and guarded the pyramid will contribute in some small way to an understanding of the complex legacy of American WASPs, their huge accomplishments, and their egregious lapses from slavery and genocide to deadly exceptionalism. To be glib, it is my belief that a clear-eyed portrait of those currently seen as the perpetrators of great wrongs might help us reach even-handed conclusions about the past and better face the future. For we would all benefit if the traits WASPs idealized, like humility, responsibility, simple civility, and lack of pretension, which seem endangered in the world today, were revived and again revered. The story of the WASPs is, for better and for worse, the story of America. The star-crossed settlers who came to Jamestown in 1607 were WASPs. The Pilgrims who landed off Massachusetts in 1620 were WASPs. The buyers of the first American slaves at Port Comfort near Jamestown in 1619 were WASPs, as was George Washington, and every president until 1961. Many of the brave men and women who supported the abolition of slavery before the Civil War were members of the Northern WASP elite. The industrialists and financiers who built and ran America, men like Cornelius Vanderbilt, J. Pierpont Morgan, and Henry Ford, and the lawyers who protected them, WASPs. Until the third decade of the 20th century, just about every person with power and influence in the United States was a WASP, or else a convert. Into the 1980s, the upwardly mobile wanted to wear the same clothes, go to the same schools, join their clubs, and move on up to their exclusive neighborhoods. That can't be said anymore. The Anglo-American elite has drifted from American centrality to the periphery. States have been run by Jewish and Catholic governors throughout American history, beginning with Thomas Dongan, who was appointed governor of the Duke of York's province of New York in 1683. The first Catholic governor of one of the United States was Thomas Sim Lee, who took over the Maryland State House in 1779 and returned in 1792. David Emanuel, a Jew, became the acting governor of Georgia in 1801. Edward Salomon was appointed governor of Washington Territory in 1870. Washington Bartlett, elected governor of California in 1887, was born Jewish but converted to Christianity before taking office. Simon Bamberger was elected the head of Utah in 1896. Since 1961, we've had both non-Protestant and non-white presidents, but WASPs persist. The Episcopalian